Hi, Weather Joey here with your I'm going to say South Coast weather forecast and recap for Friday, December 12th, 2025. Our last forecast was last Friday on the 5th. We're going to go over that. Lots of stuff happening in the weather. I'm going to try to remember it. It's up there somewhere. I'm going to try to pull it out and go over it because there's a lot of stuff going on this time of year. Anyway. Going out to you in the future, 7 out, thinking of you, love from here to you, time and space, who knows about that, we're all in it together, and to all the spirits and beings that dwell in this realm, that reside and visit. This goes out to you, my little part. And as always, before we get started, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank and acknowledge the first peoples of this land, the ones here and their ancestors watching over. Thank you for allowing us to live, work, and exist on your beautiful traditional territory, and help us to remember it. Don't you help us to remember it, but let us remember it day in and day out, that there is a broad history across this land, that we are just a tiny settlers, or just a tiny little part of it. So thank you so much. Okay, so last forecast. We went pretty much as scheduled. And as we got into this past weekend, I guess just reviewing that the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, that sort of thing. That was pretty much, we had low pressure up in the Gulf of Alaska, fueling quite a moist flow from the west here. Still warm weather, still kind of sourcing warmth from down here in across the Pacific, bringing it across fairly wet over the weekend. And as this low tightened up, we saw this kind of flow out of the southwest, or the west southwest a little bit, and brought in 2 pulses of quite heavy rain to the lower mainland, south coast, and particularly to Washington. The first one hit on the 8th, you'll notice, and the next one on the 10th, which was a couple days ago. So an atmospheric river of sorts. You can see this whole line here. It's a frontal line between colder air up here, warmer air down here, but funneling a whole bunch of moisture towards the coast in 2 pulses. Not like a major, the valley got a lot, and I'm not going to downplay that. You'll look back at the records, but not one of the big ones. So those tend to last for 3 to 5 days and really hit the south coast hard. Moderate one here, worse for Washington, some flooding down there. Anyway, so if you look at our last forecast, we were talking about this past Wednesday, which would have been the 10th, and this low starting to bring down some cold air. Well, I've been promising this winter for a lot of forecasts now, and I thought this may be coming down and dominating this coming weekend and whatnot, but no. This has not been the case. It's not turning out to be the case. What we've got here is we've got some beautiful high pressure, amazing weather down south here and all up this coast that's been kind of helping to fuel this, but this has started to build up unexpectedly. So the models have shown more and more, and what we've got this is when we came into yesterday, this high pressure came up, cut off this moisture source from the southwest, and kind of helped direct it a bit more. From the west-southwest, directed a little bit more from the southwest. So we still got low pressure up here, still helping to fuel that. Now, we dried out yesterday. We're kind of dry today, but along this new frontal line, put that here. Along this new frontal line, we have some systems developing up here, and we still got warm air source here. So today, let's see, this Friday, Saturday, we're going to get this steady stream here. Still hitting the Central Coast, North Island. That's coming pretty hard. By the time it crosses down, moves a little bit south over the weekend, it will have fizzled out. But this storm track is continuing to dig even further. Kind of fueled by this, but along here we've got lows coming up here. And we've got a couple of more waves coming to the south coast. Mild waves still. Freezing levels quite high. Snow in the Alpines still, but kind of wet, sloppy cement. Nothing for the lower hills. That's going to hit, let's see, a big hit Sunday night and all day Monday from here. So lots of rain on already saturated ground. Hopefully that doesn't cause too much problems of flooding. And then we've got a second hit now on Tuesday. So before we get into next Tuesday, which is the 15th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, we still have this cold air coming down here. This is circulating. This is bringing this cold air down. So this is going to finally come into play next week. Now, instead of this moisture, warm moisture coming from here, we're going to start seeing colder moisture coming from here. So after Monday's hit, we got another one coming in on Tuesday. Now that looks like it's still going to be fairly warm, but as soon as that moves through, what is it? Let's just double check. Is that Tuesday? Yes, it is Tuesday. Looks like a cold dilution air will finally cut off this warm. Yeah, let's go by memory here. Tuesday. That's still going to be kind of warm. The freezing levels coming down a little bit on that Tuesday system. We'll have to watch that. But eventually by Wednesday into Thursday, we've got another system coming in. Thursday looks like that could be pretty strong. But by then, freezing levels will be down for everyone. Maybe a little bit residual on Wednesday, some residual system to snow, freezing levels down. Thursday looks like the whole south coast will start getting snow, at least like the local mountains and things like that, not to sea level. A good hit of that Thursday and into Friday as this low migrates down here and starts to really bring this cold air from the Northeast Pacific across here for Friday and into Saturday and into the weekend. And we've got a whole bunch of cold air coming down here. So snow to the south coast. Starting Tuesday, freezing levels coming down into Wednesday. Another hit Thursday. Continually off and on Friday, Saturday, and then by Sunday and into next week, it looks like winter has fully arrived for the south coast. And down to sea level, we'll see what happens there. Anyway, again, I promised it, and I think it's going to happen. We'll be watching it. But how's that for presentation? That's full on analog. Chalk Talk is what we call it. Back in our day, maybe you'll be going back to Chalk Talk. I don't know how long this electrical thing is going to be going on for you guys in the future. Anyway, that's a bunch of my nonsense. Hope this helps out, and my friends out there, as always, may the forecast be with you.